All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Head Coach David Shaw's press conference. Coach Shaw will start off with an opening statement.
Good afternoon. Appreciate you all dealing with the little time adjustment with our student athletes class schedules, kind of make us do this a little bit later. Injury update. Michael Wilson will be out for a significant portion of time. David Bailey, I would say, is doubtful for this week. Jack Lyra, same thing, doubtful. Levani Demooney would be questionable. Came out of the game, tried to go again, couldn't make it back in. He's shown some progress. Walter Rouse, Levi Rogers, and Barrett Miller, I would say all three of those guys are questionable, but trending in the right direction. I'm hoping that all three guys can make it back this week, and hopefully Levani will make a turn as well, make it back. As for the game, exciting to have the Legends Trophy here. Our guys pulled that victory out. Still, my comments after the game is just great for guys to earn it, for it to be difficult, to fight through a lot of different circumstances, injury being one of the big ones, finding ways to get guys on the field, and credit to those players for being ready, credit to the coaches for preparing them, and credit to those guys to go out there and play. I think, Notre Dame fought hard. They're going through a lot of the same circumstances, a lot of guys that they would love to have out there that are not out there, including their starting quarterback and a couple of key players. For those that, basically took shots at both teams, I thought that was unfortunate. I think everybody's scrapping and fighting and trying to find ways to win football games. Not as easy as it looks sometimes. You have to make a lot of adjustments and deal with a lot of things that don't go your way, both before the game and during the game. So I know Coach Marcus Freeman is one of the best young coaches in America. I know he's going to do well over time. I know that's just a difficult hand he's been dealt injury-wise, much like we have. But you battle through, you fight through, you gather your guys, and you come back. So proud of our team to have the fight to finish the game. I believe we've been on the upward trend the last couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll get some of our starters back, particularly on the offensive line, to continue this little trend that we've had the last few weeks, getting better, and hopefully that trend continues. So we'll take some questions.
Thank you, Coach. As always, please raise your hand on Zoom with any questions. Troy, you're up first.
Coach, obviously with the caveat that football is a rough sport, how would you
Troy,
sum up?
1 second. All right, try that one again.
There we go. Take two. Coach, with the caveat that football is obviously a rough sport, injuries obviously becoming a factor once again this season, but how would you compare how injuries have affected this season compared to other previous seasons where injuries certainly played a tremendous factor in how things went in each of those respective years?
Yeah, I mean, you never go a season without losing starters. It's a violent football game. The football's a violent game. I would say this year we are deeper, and it's something that we've really worked on over the last couple of years, making sure we have the depth to handle injuries that happen. So for us to be able to go down to our, a freshman tackle playing left tackle in the fourth quarter at Notre Dame, and he went out there and did well. So the big thing for us is to recruit depth and to prepare those guys to play. We've had to do that in the secondary. We've had to do that at receiver. We've had to do that at running back. So that's just a part of big time college football. And nobody's going to feel sorry for you if guys get hurt. You got to get guys ready and put them out there and trust them to go play, and they got to go play. So the biggest difference for us is we have better depth this year than we've had in years past.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, Coach, you've got 95 wins as Stanford's head coach. Congrats on that. I'm not going to have you rank them 1 to 95, but I would like to see if Saturday night's win at Notre Dame might rank in your top 5 in terms of wins that were satisfying. If you know what I'm getting at, is that would it be a top 5 satisfying win for David Shaw?
I don't know if satisfying is the word. Maybe necessary, maybe desired or needed. But yeah, that's tough to say. That's tough to say. I wouldn't want to disrespect any other team or any other victories. I know this football team worked really, really hard the last 2 weeks to write a lot of different things, to change a lot of different things, to improve on a lot of different things. And as much as anything, not just me being proud of this group, but happy that they got to see the fruits of their labor. You guys have worked really, really hard to come back and fight and scrap and put ourselves in position to win, and then be able to close the door in the fourth quarter. And especially from a week ago where we didn't put the game away offensively. We didn't get the special teams play that we would like, and then we didn't get the door closed on defense. And then to come back this week against Notre Dame and get that last score, get a nice drive to take 4 minutes plus off the clock and take all 3 of their timeouts, and have our sting punt do what it's supposed to do, get the team backed up to the 10-yard line with no timeouts and over 2 minutes to play. And that's just a really tough way for them to go. So all the things went out there, guys executed, and when it was time to end the game, and John McGill went out there and ended the game.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Ben?
Yeah, just a little more on Jonathan McGill getting his first Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week award in his career. Just how good did it feel to see him get that recognition, and more importantly for you, I'm sure just how nice it was to see him have the kind of performance he had in that kind of setting there on Saturday.
Yeah, first I got to mention that, I mean, the entire secondary had a great game. Caillou Kelly, I don't know if there was a ball completed on him. Ethan Bonner played great. I mean, huge plays by Kendall Williamson, getting that forced fumble late in the game. Patrick Fields making huge 4th down stop, a couple of big plays in a row on one of those drives. And John McGill, recovered fumble, last play, pass breakup, and then they got another couple of big stops, TFL, on a blitz. So I'm proud of that entire group. They played extremely well, but really happy for John to get that recognition.
We'll go back to Troy.
Casey Filkins had 32 carries on the evening against Notre Dame. What's your read on that? What's your reaction to that? Is that ideal going forward? Him having to carry that much of the load and carry the rock that many times going forward?
That is not ideal. That was not the plan. I was shocked afterwards to know there was that many carries. We've really worked on getting a better rotation for him. We did it during the course of the game. The second half, especially the fourth quarter, we did not do it as much as we would like. We really want to work on that going forward. We've got a couple of other capable guys in that room that have to take some responsibility and take some plays away. But at the same time, Casey played great. He's one of our players of the game, both catching and receiving, out there for punt return. The guys does whatever we ask and goes out there and plays great. His teammates trust him. We both trust him and believe in him. And he's been outstanding for us so far this year. But yeah, that was quite a bit more than we had anticipated and hoped for. And I don't anticipate that happening very much going forward.
Ben?
Yeah, Troy read my mind there. That was me, my question. So I had to call an audible here. So my audible is Arizona State. Just early thoughts on that matchup. Thoughts on them. What you guys need to do to keep the momentum going against the Sun Devils on Saturday?
Well, they're coming off a bye week, and they got a lot of really good football coaches. They got a lot of good players. They went into the bye week with some good feelings. They knocked off a very good Washington football team, and honestly outplayed them. Made some big time plays, got some big stops on defense. Offensively, they made some big plays. So you got a team that was down early, but has caught some momentum, and starting quarterbacks coming back. So I've gained a lot of confidence there. So obviously this is a very capable team, especially watching them go toe to toe with Washington, a really good football team. So we're in no position to look past anybody or down on anybody because of their record. We believe we're better than our record. We believe Arizona State's better than their record. So this should be a good game.
Troy?
Yeah, given how things have gone down there this season and how wildly different it seems they've played, their level of play has been throughout the course of the season, perhaps for obvious reasons, I don't know. How hard is it to get a read potentially on what the Sun Devils truly are at this point in time and what they're truly capable of?
Well, I mean, that's the difference between coaches and non-coaches. When we put the film on, we see length and athleticism on the defensive side, and we see size on the defensive line. You see an athletic playmaker at quarterback coming back, who's got a lot of plays under his belt. You see guys that have made plays. They haven't had the consistency, especially early in the season. But that's not what we look at. We look at what are their abilities, what are their capabilities. This is a talented football team. They have to get ready to play.
Dave?
Yeah, hi, Coach. I just wanted to ask you about, obviously losing Michael Wilson is tough. I don't know if you had to pick an MVP for the first half of the season, if it would be him, but I think obviously that's one of the positions where you do have depth. How will you guys adjust without Michael, and just what has he meant to the team, at this point so far?
Yeah, Mike is, it's hard to put into words what Mike has meant to this football team, to this coaching staff. His on the field play speaks for itself. His playmaking, his tenacity, his work ethic day to day, his attention to detail, his leadership on the field and off, the way he carries himself on the field and off. He's right at the top of the example guys, where you just look at him and you point to him and everybody else and say, do everything like Mike. He set the standard for the receiver room. He set the standard for the offense, and he's one of those guys that sets the standard for the team. And he's very, very special, special to all of us, particularly to me. We've had great talks over the years, you won't find a more high caliber individual in all of college sports. And be sad to not have him on the team, but I know Mike's future is bright on the field. Mike's future is bright off the field, and I'm just grateful to have had him on our team for the time that we've had him. And possibly end of season for him, but we'll see how it plays out. But just nobody's given more of himself of this to this football team, to his teammates, to the staff than Mike. And we can't replace him, but we've got a lot of guys in that receiver room that have looked up to him, that are ready to step up and give their all to fill the void that he's going to leave on the field.
Troy?
You mentioned after the game on Saturday that the defense was able to get more pressure and more movement against Notre Dame. And it seems like we've seen more pressure and more movement from the Stanford defense, really for the most part since the Oregon State game, things that it didn't really seem like we saw in the first month of the season. What sort of things kind of went into, maybe potentially emphasizing more pressure and more movement and getting more results on the field on that side of the ball in those respective categories?
It's kind of twofold. I think we want to be aggressive in our play calling. We want to be aggressive in our play. So even if we're not sending a pressure, like some of those pressures on the quarterback were not more than 4-man rushes. They were guys giving great effort, in particular, Stephen Herron, who affected the quarterback multiple times during the course of the game, especially those 2 sacks and the forced fumble. So part of it is our game planning and as well as our execution of the game plan. So the players got to go out there and do it, and that's been an emphasis for us for for the last few weeks is just being more aggressive in our play calling, offense, defense, special teams, more aggressive in our play by each individual. And it wasn't perfect, still a lot of room for improvement, but we've been better the last few weeks, and hopefully we keep getting better.
Steve?
Yeah, Coach, just following up on your discussion of Michael. Am I reading too much into when you say there's a possibility at the end? Would that mean if you were to get to a bowl game that he could play in that kind of the timetable, or am I off on that?
Yeah, I don't have a timetable right now. I really don't. We'll see how the next couple weeks go. Like I said, more than likely out for the year. I'm just not ready to say that just yet.
Got it.
But we'll see how the next week or so goes with he and the doctors, and he'll make the best decision for him, his health, and his future, and we will 100% support that. And no matter what that is, but all of us right now are going to lean on the doctors for them to tell us what the most prudent thing to do is.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Back to Troy.
How about this? A 1 o'clock kickoff. Kind of feels a little weird to be kicking off this time of day, I'm sure. How does it feel to be kicking off during that time of day? And are there any extra sort of variables that you don't have to take into effect this week that you probably had to previous weeks and that you'll have to again next week down in Pasadena?
Well, as you all know, I've been begging and pleading for weeks now to play football during the day. And our guys are excited. Our families are excited. It makes the fans are excited. We have a lot of fans that drive to games, especially from an hour, 2 hours away, 3 hours away. That's just tough coming back at 3 o'clock in the morning. So excited. We're able to have this game here. Very appreciative of our TV people, of our conference. I know many people are excited also because it's a reunion weekend to be able to have a day game so we can have all the festivities after the game. So great. So great for a lot of us. And now just to be able to, we can't have a lot of those early morning meetings that we've been kind of having, which is great. Get a chance to get up, eat breakfast, have a couple quick conversations and walk through, and now let's go. So we're all excited about it, and hopefully this isn't the last one of these we'll have during the course of the year.
Dave?
A little bit different topic, but I want to ask about rules, your role with the rules committee. I believe you said you're rolling off it after this year. I might be wrong, but I'm curious if there's anything in particular that this is your chance to really get changed, or maybe make your last kind of statement on something that really needs to be fixed. And also, I'm curious, about, is there anything more that can be done to really make the game safer? Or have we done everything, or are there things that maybe are drastic, like, trying to open up the field more with like maybe a bigger neutral zone, or I don't know, make it 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10, any of those kind of things. Just curious to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I'll take the second one first. I think we've made some historic changes during my tenure with the rules committee. I'm very grateful for the rules editor, Steve Shaw, and all the people that work with the NCAA to fine tune our targeting rules, to fine tune our off-season training, our preseason practices, to being able to make sure all elements of targeting are there before we eject, keeping young people on the sidelines and not putting them in the locker room after injection for targeting. Like a lot of those things I think have been outstanding. But it's a constant battle. And this is a violent sport and people get hurt. So I think our partnership with the NFL helps also. We discuss rules every single year. What rules are they changing? What medical reasons do they have for making their changes? What do we have? What do the statistics say? And those have been great conversations, but those conversations will continue. There are multiple health and safety groups that push hard for us to look every single year on how do we make the game safer. the rule change at the top of my books is something I have not been able to do that I thought I was going to be able to do in the last few years, and that's remove the umpire. The umpire is in the way. They affect more games negatively than they do positively. It's not their fault. It is just a game that is different than when we first put the umpire there. A lot of crossing routes, a lot of RPOs, a lot of hurry up tempo, and they're, I have an edit that's, probably I've cut it down. It's down to like 50 plays, but it used to be like 80 plays over the course of 10 years, where the official has either gotten in the way of a pass, deflected a pass, got in the way of a receiver, where the defender now gets an interception, got in the way of the defender, so the receiver gets a clean run. There's so many opportunities that for that umpire to affect the game negatively. And I think the NFL's experimented with it, remove them. He's there to look look at line play, but I think if we have two officials in the back that can see offensive and defensive holding, I think we need to remove that umpire. So I haven't been quiet about that. It's something I've been trying to get done. I haven't been able to get that done. But I did enjoy my time there with the rules committee.
Ben?
Just want to get your thoughts on Ashton Daniels and kind of how you guys plan to keep kind of using him going forward, and just kind of your thoughts of how his role has gone so far as kind of the third down kind of running quarterback option so far this year.
Yeah, it's been good to sprinkle him in. The game's not too big for him. He's gone out there and executed well. I think we'll continue to do that, sprinkle him in there throughout the rest of the season. Ari Patu is our backup quarterback. I think this has been a nice role for Ashton to give him a taste of college football, but also utilize his skill set. And this guy was a very good lacrosse player. He's got great feet. He's a great athlete. He's a really good decision maker. He's a 3-time state champion at state of Georgia. So this guy's got a chance to be a good one. So, well, as we're kind of protecting our backup quarterback and at the same time utilizing our young quarterback for his athletic ability, and that's something that we'll continue to sprinkle in throughout the year.
Thank you, Ben. Tim?
Coach, you mentioned about the umpire. If memory serves, didn't Patrick Fields get screened off in a play the last couple of weeks?
He got screened off of a play at Oregon,
yeah,
and then got a penalty for complaining about it.
Yeah, I saw that. So, hey, I also wanted to ask you about the quick release plays at the line of scrimmage, and how you thought your offensive line did with those against Notre Dame in terms of McKee getting rid of the ball quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the game plan, was to get it out of his hands quickly. They have a very good defensive front, some very good football players there. So we had a combination of getting the ball released quickly, but then also moving the pocket and then utilizing some play action. So I think all three of those, with multiple completions outside the pocket, we did a good job with our quick game, multiple completions with our quick drops, and then a couple of nice play actions, including the third quarter hitting Elijah right down the middle. That was a slow mesh RPO, which ends up being a play action when the quarterback pulls it. So I think the guys went out there and executed that game plan very well.
Thanks, Coach.
Any last questions for Coach? John, all you.
Yeah, better late than never. Thank you, Coach. Just a comment on Josh McCarty. He's perfect. I'm just wondering, with the kickers and punters you recruit, is there something about their personality or their, I don't know what the calm that goes along with leg strength? Because I'm just, both with Ryan Sanborn and with Josh McCarty, I'm sort of struck by sort of even keeledness, and it seems to me you need that, particularly making big kicks on the road.
Yes, Coach Alomar, he leads all the recruiting of all of our specialists, including the long snapper. He knows what he's looking for technique-wise, ability-wise, but then also getting a sense of personality and mindset, and getting to know these guys and who they are. And I think he's done an outstanding job finding the right guys. And I think when they go out there, that's what you see. And they're confident. They know what they're doing. They know their techniques. Not perfect. Always looking to strive for improvement. But at the same time, taking the right approach and dealing with the internal emotions and the situations, but being steady and consistent in their approach and their technique is key, and that has a lot to do with their personality and their mentality. And Coach Elmer's done a great job of finding the right guys.
All right, we will let John wrap us up. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, we are back now with Casey Filkins. Questions, just the same, please raise your hand on Zoom and I'll call on you in the order you raise your hand. Troy, you're up first.
Casey, 32 carries on Saturday. How did it feel to carry that much of a load? How are you feeling in the immediate aftermath of that game after carrying the ball 32 times?
Yeah, totally. In the moment, I didn't really notice it. That's not something I'm really keeping track of too much. I definitely felt it after the game and still feeling it a little bit. Just, minor stuff. I'm just overall pretty sore. I feel like I kind of back in high school when the most carries I got in high school, I think, was 45 in a game. So obviously it wasn't something like that. But yeah, just getting back into the swing of it, and obviously a little bit more of a load than what I've had. So yeah, feeling sore, but overall I'm feeling great.
Dave.
Yeah, hi Casey. I know that kind of coming into the year, you were kind of banged up maybe in the off season, and I was just wondering, how do you build that kind of strength and endurance on the fly? You're having to do it basically as the season's going along, and also obviously your responsibilities have increased because of EJ's injury and all that. But just curious how you've gotten to this point where you can do that, even though you didn't have that foundation maybe that the other guys have had.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that question, because that's obviously, a big deal is the fact that we have a long off season to prepare for seasons like this. I got to give a lot of credit to our training staff, both in the weight room, just with our strength and conditioning staff, to our athletic training staff, getting treatment every day. Them really being a foundational part and the reason I can recover and kind of get to the point I've gotten to. We knew going into it, it was kind of going to be a process of just of improving on the fly as the season goes. I think that's gone well so far. I think my endurance and conditioning has improved as the season's gone on, and that's also come with more durability. And that's, again, just credit to our strength staff and the trainers. They've been taking great care of me, and that we're working hand in hand, communicating well. So it's going to only go up from here.
Back to Troy.
Yeah, Casey, it's been a real offensive line shuffle all season long. I mean, 6 different guys have taken competitive snaps at the tackle spots alone. How much of an adjustment is that for you, knowing that, you're going to be, guys up front that are going to be blocking for you that might not have exactly had the same number of reps as everybody else out there on the line?
Yeah, for sure. I got to give credit to our line. Like you said, obviously a lot of guys have had to step up this year, and for the most part, I think we've done a great job. And that's a testament to just practice and the way that we practice. I think those guys take every rep that they get seriously. And so, when a guy like Fisher gets thrown in the fourth quarter, as a freshman, let alone, it wasn't too big of a moment for him. He was able to hang in there. He got some great plays in, and that's just encouraging. Honestly, when I'm out there, I'm not going down the line thinking, oh my gosh, who's in front of me blocking. So I really just place a lot of trust in those guys. And I know with having Nuge at center is huge for us. I mean, he's a great leader. I know everybody's going to be on the same page in terms of communication and stuff like that. So I think we have great leadership and some young guys that have stepped up. That's been huge, and that's something that's football is football. And we're going to need guys to step up in the second half of the season here.
Ben?
It had been a while since you guys had won an FBS game, but if there's a place to break the streak, Notre Dame is probably about as good a place to do it as anywhere. Just how much of a momentum builder do you feel this win could be for you guys? And it seems like you guys are starting to get things figured out. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I would. I would say, obviously, we had a very difficult loss against Oregon State, just didn't get the job done. I thought we did play better in that game, and we all felt that way as a program. So we knew we were going to come out against Notre Dame with that same, we were a little, just frustrated going into the week, and we played with a little bit of a chip on our shoulders, like we have this whole season. And obviously, we're able to put that together. So now we're at the point where, we remember what that winning feeling is like. Again, it's been a while for us to experience that as a group. And that was huge for us. So, it's really about not dwelling on the fact that we got to win and however many games it's been since we got to win. It's really about focusing on this week and, really taking it day by day. Cause nothing's for certain, and we just got to work for tomorrow. So.
Troy?
Yeah, what's your initial read on Arizona State?
I think we were talking about this morning. I think they're kind of a little bit of a team that's similar to us in a sense of they have a lot of talent, and their record might not necessarily reflect that. They move around on defense. They've got active dudes, and on offense, I think they are going to try to run the ball. And I know they always just have athletes kind of all over the place. So I think it's going to be a good matchup, skill wise. And I think we have the opportunity up front to really establish a presence in the run game and kind of just continue to build on last week. And, really just, I'm just looking forward to going out there, having another opportunity with those guys against a talented Arizona State team that, I know they've had some coaching changes and stuff like that. That seems like they're a motivated group and kind of rallying around the coach that's there for them right now. And so we know it's going to be a challenge. They're going to come in fired up, and we gotta step up for sure.
Ben, do you have another question?
Oh yeah, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, just can't see you.
Sweet, cool. Yeah, my camera something's a little funky. So, oh, good. You can hear me. My question just simply was, just talk about how you personally are feeling in terms of adjusting to being the RB1 and taking that load. Troy kind of led with it with the 33 carries or whatever, 32 carries you have. But just how do you feel you're settling in as being the RB1 now at this point of the year?
I feel like I'm starting to really kind of get more comfortable just in terms of, the level of touches I might be getting, the level of snaps I might be getting. To be honest, I going into the season, I obviously knew it was going to be primarily me and EJ, and him going down was just, it's heartbreaking. And, the fact that I'm in this role right now, I didn't necessarily expect it, but at the end of the day, I truly feel like I'm made for it. And this is what I've prepared for, for the past 4 years leading up to, being here at Stanford. And I'm starting to just get more confident in myself and really starting to get a good feel out there for the speed of the game. It feels like it's starting to slow down a little bit, which is nice. And from a physicality standpoint, I feel like I've hung in there pretty well and played physical and fought on every play. So I definitely feel like I'm settling well. And, I think we got a great opportunity as a offensive unit to really build on something special in these next 6 games plus.
Dave?
Yeah, I just want to ask you about the slow mesh because it seems to go against your instinct of, you're always taught to just charge into the line or whatever. And now you have to pause and wait. And I'm just curious how that is as an adjustment when you've always been taught one thing and now you're kind of being taught something else, and to develop that patience.
Definitely. It's something that I had to get adjusted to. Because like you said, I'm so used to getting the ball and kind of just trying to burst through the first hole that I see in the line. And that's not necessarily what the scheme is with this slow mesh. And there's a lot that goes into it, in terms of knowing who I have to have in pass protection, as well as who I'm reading if it ends up being a handoff. So I'm gonna, honestly, it's something I still need to really improve on, just in terms of having patience and letting those holes kind of open up and knowing when to bounce it along the edge. And teams are starting to throw different schemes at us. They're either really trying to plug up the middle and kind of give us the edges, or they're kind of like what Notre Dame did a lot, was kind of just kept their backers sitting, so our line couldn't actually get up to them. And that presented a challenge just in terms of, our line can't go downfield because it still could be a pass play. So trying to set up those blocks was a little more difficult. And I know teams are going to have more and more film on us. So we're going to see some schemes to try and stop that. And we're going to have to adapt. And I think, thankfully, what's great about this scheme is that we have the freedom to do that. It allows us to do a lot of different things. So.
Ben?
Yeah, I was just kind of ask what you're doing from a physical standpoint to kind of keep your body kind of healthy during this season. Do you feel like you're spending any more time in the training with the trainers, or just kind of what's been the adjustment there from that standpoint, from a physical standpoint?
Definitely. I've been spending some time after our practices on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, getting some extra cardio in the weight room. And that's been just for myself, obviously, but it also kind of functions as a little bit of a flush, just to kind of cycle some new blood in my body and kind of get rid of that lactic acid. So, I mean, it's stuff like that. And yeah, I would say I've been spending more time in the treatment room, just whether it's soft tissue or just working on different mobility things, or even just sitting in the hot tub. In high school, I had a pretty crazy treatment regimen during the week where I would see like my physical therapists and chiropractors and acupuncturists. So like, it's really nothing new to me. And, I'm just thankful that I've got some pretty good resources around here to be able to do that.
All right, any other questions for Casey? Then wrap it up here.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up with this. Just your thoughts on the 1 o'clock kickoff time. Happy to start earlier in the day, I guess, or just thoughts on that?
I am happier to start earlier in the day. I'm going to be honest with you. I know Coach Shaw has talked about that a little bit, and I'd be remiss to say that I'm definitely glad it's not an 8 p.m. kickoff. So one's going to be great. Hopefully we get a lot of students and alumni. It's alumni weekend, so it should be a great environment. We're really looking forward to it, and it's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Casey.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right. Last but certainly not least, we have Ethan Bonner. Questions? Please raise your hand. Dave, you're up first.
Yeah, hi, Ethan. Hey, I'm just asking about the aggressive, style you guys have been playing a little bit more aggressively the last couple of weeks. Do you feel like that's to your benefit? Is that helping? Is that maybe a switch from earlier this year? How's that kind of developed? And is that kind of a new kind of personality that you guys are maybe is most effective for you?
I think as a defense, we definitely, after the first 4 games, we definitely kind of wanted to go into games a little bit more aggressive. We felt like our secondary has been playing really well, and we just wanted to put a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. So I think playing a little bit more, cover 0 and 1 highs is something that we kind of gotten into more, just to try to put some more pressure on the QB, and force him out of the pocket. But yeah.
Troy?
Yeah, Ethan, defense certainly leading the way to the win in South Bend. What did that win and what did that result and how it came mean specifically to the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I think it was huge. I think defensively and probably collectively, that's probably the best full game we've played this year. I think it's really important for the defense kind of just to recognize how well and, the potential we have to play. Our standard is to hold opponents to 17 points or less. And I think that game was huge in showing us that we're capable of doing that. And we're capable of playing a full game. So I think it was very important for us to realize we have that potential and we're good enough and capable of playing that well, but also not being, happy or content with the result, and not being complacent and, understanding that this is our standard moving forward. And this is what we need to do week in and week out.
Defensive backs often have roller coaster games, roller coaster sequences, roller coaster seasons. You're no stranger to that. How would you sum up how you've done so far this year and some of the highs and some of the lows?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the best I've been playing my time here at Stanford. I think staying healthy has been a big part of my progression. I kind of struggled with that in the past. But yeah, it's just, as a DB, you kind of have to have a short memory. Oregon State, that was a tough week. But you can't hang your head on that. You gotta keep moving forward and look to the next opportunity. And I think we went back on that field. 2 minutes left. We kind of all knew that we weren't going to let that same thing happen as we did in Oregon State. So, yeah.
Ben?
Just talk about how good it feels to be back in the field again and playing. You missed a lot of time last year, and just talk about your personal emotions, feelings being back on the gridiron.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. I've been through a lot. And, we have a lot of fifth-year guys on this roster. We've kind of been on this roller coaster together. Ricky and Jacob. We've kind of all suffered some season-ending injuries. As Jonathan as well. Kendall's been banged up. But it's really amazing to be out there with those guys. After being through so much together. Grinding through the off season. But no, I don't have a word to describe how it feels to, be out in the field and be healthy with those guys again.
Troy, do you have another question?
Yeah, after the game on Saturday, John McGill told us that Caillou Blue Kelly brought over the swagger back to the defensive backs, had a little halftime speech and all those sorts of things, and certainly backed it up with his play, as did the rest of the defensive backs as well. How much is, for lack of a better term, swagger? How big of that is a part of playing defensive back at this level?
I think that swagger I think they're talking about, it gives us confidence on the field. Defensive back, it's not an easy position. You're one small play away from touchdown. So I think kind of having that swagger and having that confidence just kind of helps remind you to you belong here, and we're here to make plays, and we're here to win a football game. So a lot of respect for Caillou and the swagger he brings to this team and our secondary.
Ben?
What have been the main points of emphasis that Coach Aquina has had with you guys the past couple weeks? That's the question.
After following the 4 losses, it's tough coming back and watching the game. But every week the sentiment was the same, is that, win or lose, we're going to go back to work and try to fix this and straighten this out. So, how it has been tough, but, every week we don't, get our head up or hang up on the losses. So it's just really important to keep working regardless of the outcome, keep pushing forward and, keep getting better, trying to get better every week and, help get this team a win. And I think we were able to do that this past weekend, and it's a good feeling.
Dave?
Yeah, Ethan, earlier you mentioned about how the secondary is one of the strengths of the team, and that you guys were willing to have more responsibility kind of placed on your shoulders. I was wondering if you can kind of describe that a little bit, and how you feel about, we want that responsibility, and we want to have opportunities to, whether it's play, one-on-one, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm just curious about your thoughts here.
Yeah, so I mean, we're a heavy man coverage team. So we're playing a lot of one high. Me and Caillou one-on-one, most of the game on the edges. But that's just kind of something we're used to, and we embrace that. And collectively, we believe that we are one of the strengths of the defense. So, we're taking on that responsibility, and we embrace it. So, that helps us be stronger against the run too. Playing these one-on-one matchups, outside. So I think that that's just kind of our personality. And we accept the challenge, and we're up for it.
Ben?
You guys forced a couple of turnovers at Notre Dame. Just talk about that and how big that was to get that side of the game going for you guys. Because that was something that had been a struggle for you guys earlier in the year, but you guys get two, and that made a big difference, it seems. Yeah,
that's takeaways. That's also been a big emphasis. We haven't done a very good job of taking the ball away in the first half of the season. So just in practice all week, we got guys stripping at the ball, always going for the ball, scooping loose balls. So that was huge, and I think we need to continue that trend and keep forcing turnovers in the games, because that's huge. I think we've been on the negative side of the turnover margin almost every game. So for us to create more turnovers, that creates a lot of momentum and helps the team win. So we got to continue to do that, continue to build those habits in practice, and just force more turnovers and give our offense the ball and more opportunities.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Ethan.
Thanks, guys.
That will conclude today's press conference. Thank you so much for attending. Audio and video of this will be uploaded